Hey guys, now that the control part or the part that we just used water is finished, it's time to start part two. Now I'm starting out with my cardboard. Now since I've seen you, I dumped all the water out from the lake and I put it, or my river, and I put it outside for a few minutes, and this is why. After I dumped out the water, there was still some water left on my clay, and I didn't want my houses to get wet from the old water. I only wanted them to get wet from the flood. So I let it dry out for a few minutes. There's no water around. It's a little damp, but that's okay. Then I put my cardboard around the houses to protect them from the flood. Then I took my water bottle and I filled it back up, and I realized last time I used about this much water, so I'm going to try to use the same amount this time, okay? So if you chose the cardboard, you think the cardboard board will do the most? Let's see. I pushed my cardboard into the clay a little to help it better reinforce against the flood. Let's see if it works. All right, the water's going through the river. Let me make sure. Okay, we can have a little more. It's starting to flood a little. And it is flooded. I'm going to give a sec for the flood water. A little more. Go through. And then let's see if the cardboard helped protect against the flood. All right, so I'm going to look at this house right here first. And this house is completely, okay, I don't know if you can see it. It's just a little bit wet at the very bottom, but compared to the other house that was right there, which is now almost completely soaked, I think this one, it's a whole lot more dry. It's a whole lot more dry. So the cardboard really helped this house. Now this house right here was closer to the river, and it did get a good bit wet. The cardboard kept out some of the water, but not enough to keep the house from getting kind of wet. All right, let's check this one. This one is right by the river. Ooh, cardboard didn't help this one too much. It looks like the cardboard soaked through. All right, so now I'm gonna do the same thing to the cart. I'm gonna dump out the water, let it dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to try to see what happens with the fabric. All right, guys, so now I did the same thing. I threw away my cardboard. I aired out my little land for a little while, and now this time I've blocked them off with little pieces of strips of fabric. And I've tried when I could to fold it over double to try to keep the water from getting in through the fabric into my buildings. Let me put the roofs on real quick, and then we can get going. The roofs aren't necessary for the experiment. They just make them look like houses. All right, I have my water's coming through my river. It's raining, all's good, it's all good, and it's flooding over. Perfect. All right, give it a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay, now that it's had a minute, let's see where we are. Let's start with this first house right here, far away from the river. Okay, it's a little more wet than when the cardboard helped it, but it's still not super wet. It's not as wet as without anything. The fabric helps some. Let's see this house. Ooh, this one's pretty wet. Alright, oh my goodness, and this house that's closest to the river, the water went over the fabric all around it, and it is very wet. It's just as wet as if there were no fabric. In fact, it might be a little more wet because the fabric sent all the water to it. Wow. Okay. So far, it looks like cardboard is doing a better job than fabric of protecting the houses. All right, so next we are going to try our clay. So again, I'm going to pause the video, get it set up, and then we'll go. All right, so I've aired it out, and now I don't know if you can see well, but what I did is I made some mounds of clay. I got some new clay. I didn't take any from the ground, and I made a barrier to try to see if that will keep some of the flood water off top of our houses. So let's see if I'll try it again. All right, the rain's coming. The river's filling up, and now it's starting to flood over. Guys, I haven't checked yet, but it looks like it may be working. I'm seeing a whole lot less flooding in the area inside the houses. So let's first check this one that's furthest away. And there's a little bit of water, but not much at all, okay? All right, so we're gonna check this one next. Ooh, there must have been a breach or some water rainwater must have hit it hard because I don't see, it doesn't look like there's that much water in it, but some snuck through and it is very wet as if we didn't have any barrier. Okay, let's check the one closest to the river. Okay, it got a good bit of water as if it didn't have any barrier either. Now, I have some sad news. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I was unable to try out the dirt. That's sad. I'm sorry. So if you are at home and you want to try out the dirt to see if that works better than the clay and the fabric and the cardboard, or if you have another material you want to try, go for it. So I'm going to pause this real quick, and then we're going to compare the houses to see of those three, cardboard, fabric, clay, and nothing, what worked the best. Alright guys, so for the next part you're going to see a picture with all the different houses and all the different what happened to them laid out. And you're going to be looking for which one got the most wet. I'm holding up one right now and you can tell where it got wet by where the color is darker. And then you're going to have a question that says which barrier worked the best. So the barrier that works the best is going to have the house that's the least wet. So you're looking for the house that is the least amount of wet. Now, in real life, people do sometimes make flood barriers to stop floods from getting to houses. They don't use cardboard or fabric, probably not as little clay as we use if they use clay a lot, but they use lots of different materials. And they run experiments kind of similar to what we did, but they use models on computers or in real life, and they try to see what materials would work the best for a flood barrier. That's how they do these things. There's also other ways to help protect places against floods. Sometimes they put, if you've ever seen like houses on the beach or on a lake on stilts or really high up on a hill to protect them from flooding. That's why they do that.